you feel like you need to say something is when you do this, I feel this, and this is how I would like it to be better. So that is a non-combative way to communicate, because so many times people ask me, like, do you and Ty ever fight? Do you ever fight? It's like, we don't actively fight. We don't fight. Have we fought and been in fights? Yes. And I'll never forget this, actually last summer, a girl asked me that same question. I was like, you guys are so cute. Do you guys ever fight? And I'm like, we fought. She goes, what was your biggest fight about? And I said, none of your fucking business. But it is. It's no one's fucking business.
Yeah, but
if I say, when you did this, it made me feel this way, and this is how it could have been handled better, and vice versa, because for all I know, he meant it a different way. How do I know unless I go directly to the source? When you do this, I feel this, and you have to handle it one-on-one amongst, like, between your marriage, or you go to a third party like a therapist.
Because you didn't talk much when you were young, now you're struggling with this thing called conversations and talking. That's completely understandable, and it completely makes sense. Because if you don't talk a lot when you're young, you think a lot. So you're really good at thinking, but you're not good at taking the thinking and then translating it into the talking. There's something known as the mind and mouth connection. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I have a strong mind and mouth connection, so I can speak my thoughts as I'm thinking. Whereas for you, it's difficult because you're really good at thinking. But because you went through an extended period of life not having to connect the thinking with the talking, the connection between the mind and the mouth is weaker. So what it requires is the strengthening of the mind and the mouth.
Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Sis on Space, and today I'm talking about how to communicate effectively when you're angry or when you're talking to strangers, or especially if you're talking to your partners and like your siblings at home, because they are the people we used to we mostly bump heads with because they're around us 24/7. And I've already made a video like this. That was the first video I made, which was, I think, how to communicate effectively or something like that. But that video, I have to update it because I was kind of like shy and nervous. I wasn't really, and I'm not updating it also with more info. So stay tuned if you want to communicate like a pro. So I learned this form of communication when I was in therapy. I grew up in a place where communication was you listen to answer, very combative, very defensive. So I was having issues with the way I communicate with people, and it got to a point where it was ruining a lot of relationships. Okay, let me be vulnerable with you guys because you guys are my friends and my community. It was ruining a lot of good relationship and partnerships in my life, even family and friends. So I don't know how therapy entered into my mind, but somehow, somewhere, I decided to check therapy, and I did, and I loved it. So the first thing my therapy noticed, which is why she started with communication, and I went on BetterHelp. This is not sponsored. She touched on communication because she's like, a lot of the things we assume or we take into offense is mainly because of the way we communicate it. So if you know how to communicate effectively, you can get people to do things for you. You can get your way with so many things, and you can get people to understand you and really side with you on so many stuffs. So the first tip she told me was communicating, but then taking responsibility for your actions. Okay, taking responsibility of your feelings. This is using the I word. So say a friend offends you most of the time. Say she comes for your books and she doesn't return them. In an animalistic way, I would say, or you, I don't know, like, I'm not giving you any more books. You always come for my books and you don't return them, right? That's how you're going to say. And what does that put the other person in defense mode? Because she started with you. So you are accusing them and pointing a finger. That's how it feels like. And nobody wants to feel like they're wrong. Let's be honest. I don't want to always feel like I'm wrong. So the only thing I'll do is I'll defend myself by finding an excuse, like, oh, maybe I forgot, or you should have reminded me, like, then the conversation becomes a bit combative. So she told me, take power whenever you're communicating with people. It makes them defenseless, and it makes them rather understand you and side with you, even when you are angry. And it's using the I feel. So if, in this case, if your friend takes stuff from you and she doesn't return, you can go like, I feel frustrated whenever you borrow my stuffs and you don't return them. Now, this is how I feel. You can't invalidate that, okay, unless that person is very, very toxic. But a normal person, if you tell them, I feel, or say maybe your date always shows up late. Maybe if you're a guy and you're dating a girl and she always shows up late, you can go like, I feel very angry whenever you show up very late to our date, because that's the time we spend together and we get to know each other very much. And we waste a lot of that waiting for each other. Or I waste a lot of that sitting here waiting for you, and we spend very short time. When you say that, that person will then put themselves in your shoes, because you're talking about feelings. So that, since we're emotional beings, that also gets the person. And be like, right, imagine if I was waiting that long. It wouldn't feel nice, okay? Or say you're in a class and your friends always leave the workload on you. You can tell them, guys, I feel very anxious when I have to do all the work. I need help. I need someone to help me because I can't do everything all by myself. Your friends would then be like, yeah, I'll help. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll write that, Because you just told them how you felt. It's good to be vulnerable. This is the part where you have to be vulnerable. I think people are not comfortable being vulnerable and sharing how they feel. But I don't know how important letting someone know how you feel and making them feel how you feel, because you sharing that, they feel your energy. And they get to understand you and even agree with you without you even knowing. Because whenever you tell someone I feel, they think about it. They really do, especially if they don't want to hurt you and they are doing it unintentionally. And the second point to communicate very, very effectively, like a pro, is being concise. What do I mean being concise? People will say it's being plain. In my country, such people are called, they're very plain. They're very straight to the point. So being concise is keeping your message very short, condensed, and clear. So you're not beating around the bush. If you want something, let's say you're ordering something at a bar, and let's say you're ordering like a martini. How do you want it? You just go straight to the point. Shaking, not like, you know how people like love their coffee in a particular way? That's being concise. Like little coffee, I mostly go, when I'm ordering my coffee, it's like little coffee, lots of milk, no sugar. Very, very direct, okay? So whenever you're communicating with people, don't bring up a story and then go all the way around and make it too long, and they don't even understand and they're confused and they're wondering where you're taking this to. Some people even zone out when the conversation is too long and you're not getting to the point. It's like a guy trying to propose to a girl but he can't go direct. One day the girl will get sick and tired of you not stepping up. It makes you look like a coward, like you're not secured in what you're about to say. It's like you're not confident in what you're about to tell the person. So you have to go around before you hit it. Just hit the point. Just go for it. People like straightforward things. Even with YouTube channel, when I've realized when people click on your video and you're very direct in the first few minutes, they stay longer than, some people try and gatekeep it until you get to the middle. So I will click off, because all those bumbo jumbo, what are you trying to talk about? Like, hit the point, make the video condensed, precise, and leave me thinking about it like, wow, that was intense, but that carried a lot of weight. It's better than making it so light and dragged out and coming off very annoying. It's like, why does he talk too much? Why she talks too much? And people will avoid you when it's time for you to talk to them. It's like, oh, I have to be somewhere, because anytime you communicate with them, your conversation is too long. So people only communicate with you when they are bored and they have a lot of time doing nothing. Okay, be the type that, because you talk very precise or concise, whenever you speak, people listen because you don't say too much. Okay, you don't speak too much. It's like you're stingy with your wisdom. You're stingy with your words. Your words only come out when it carries weight. Don't make the sentence too long. Don't make a conversation talking about everything in the past. It's too much. Like, cut it off. And the third one is your body language, your non-verbal communication. You need to master your non-verbal communication. I have example of people in my life who communicate, and in their communication they're not aware, but they're very violent. They communicate using their hand to hit the table. And once I have a friend, well, she's kind of like a friend, who anytime she's talking with me, she's very violent. She's banging things, she's slapping you, like she's hitting you and pushing you. And it's not in a jovial way. It's like, I am serious, and she's like hitting the table, right? So in this situation, even though it's a friendly way that we are communicating, if someone is standing, say, behind a glass door and they can't hear us, they might think we are fighting or I'm provoking you to do something. So people will just like, it will catch unnecessary negative attention. Nobody wants that. Like, I don't want to talk to you in a bar and someone is walking by the bar and they're like, are they fighting? Like, what's going on? Oh, she's so aggressive. That isn't an effective way of communicating. If you're going to communicate with people, keep your posture and your gestures exactly to what you're trying to say. Imagine I'm talking to you guys and I'm like banging stuff. If someone is listening to this without sound, it's going to feel like, oh, is she angry? Is she fighting with someone? So anytime you're communicating with people, first of all, keep a very good posture. Make sure your posture is right on point, and that puts you already in a confident position. And make sure your hand gestures are not all over the place. Keep your hand to a specific angle and in your space. If you're talking to a whole public, then you can take up more space. But if you're talking to one person, you should know how to position yourself and not open your arms all wide like that. Stand in a very confident way and just talk, in your own frame. Okay? And keep eye contact. It's very important. People talk with their face down. Imagine I come to you and I'm like, hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today, how would you feel? You will click off. First of all, why is she hiding? Who is she hiding from? Right? So whenever you're talking to people, keep the eye contact. Keep your chin a little bit high and your chest out. That is the only way people are going to take you seriously. If you come or walk into any room about to give a speech, very soon most of you will be going for family dinners for the Christmas and all of that. Or maybe you've already gone to and you're waiting for New Year or other holidays. Learn to talk very direct and confidently to people. And the last one is, don't be afraid to share your opinions with people. You never know how far your opinion that you deemed is coming off combative is going to help create the whole situation or put the whole situation in a different perspective. Say you and I put in a creative something, maybe to do this pillow. You might say, oh, let's do it like square. And I might say, oh, like, let's do it square, but then put this kind of designs in it. Even though you don't know how the person thinks, but you just not agreeing maybe with how they're trying to do the thing and bring your own idea might change something. Some people are very shy or they're not very confident with their own opinions. They feel like, oh, maybe they're going to judge me. Maybe I'm going to sound stupid. So I'd rather shut up. No. Your opinion really matters in every situation. So learn to share your opinion without fears. Because wisdom is not found in just one person's brain. We all have wisdom. So no matter how your opinion is, at least share with them. Don't hide yourself. Don't beat yourself down because, oh, they come off too confident. You're also very confident. Whatever they have in them, you have the same thing in you. So if you're in a class, a project, or in a relationship, don't be afraid, oh, what if I share my opinion and then they leave me or they think this about me? At least they know you have a personality. They're not saying anything. Be like, yeah, everything, yes. Do you think I'm going to come like to you with something very important? No. Even if it's bad, I'll feel like you just say yes. I'll feel like you're not honest. So I feel like you don't have any personality. So I'd rather show it to someone who is able to disagree with me and give me constructive criticism or add something to it by being or having their own form of opinion. Okay? Don't see having your opinion as you being difficult or being like too knowing. It's a blessing. That means you've also been watching stuff. You also have your own eye. You also have your own lens, your own wisdom, your own creativity. And people can come to you, even though you think you are annoying for sharing your opinion. Next time, people will involve you in this stuff like, oh, she always has a contradictive way of seeing things. Let's ask her. or she always has her own way of seeing things. Let's speak to her or him. They're going to add something to it. So that's how you communicate effectively with people, by having a good posture and composure, your non-verbals, using the I feel word instead of you, and not afraid to have your opinion. And what else? If I forgot anything, just drop in a comment below. And thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.